We don't often think about motivation and fear as in the same breath or the same sentence. We are accustomed to thinking about the fact that when we're afraid of something, we can freeze up. But really, motivation and fear are in the same pathway. And believe it or not, they're in the same chemical pathway. So the only way to talk about motivation is to talk about the molecule dopamine. Dopamine is known for its feel-good properties. We think, a dopamine hit, or, it feels so good, a rush of dopamine. But dopamine's main role in the brain and body is craving, motivation, and pursuit. Okay? And in the absence of dopamine, we don't feel motivated. So if people are feeling that they're not motivated or as motivated as they would like to be, there's a key step that people need to take, which is to start focusing on the craving aspect and dopamine. Because if you can make enough dopamine, you can motivate, you can actually crave moving through challenge. When your mind is not where you want it to be, look to your body. Use the body to shift the mind. It's a simple equation. It's sometimes hard to do because thoughts can be so all-encompassing. But when your mind is not where you want it to be, if you don't feel as happy or you're obsessing, you need to go to a mechanical system in the body, because if you do that, you'll shift the chemicals that are released in your brain in a way that will allow you to regain control of the steering wheel. So if your mind is not where you want it to be, whether or not you're trying to sleep or work or focus or anything, I'm a big fan of this physiological sigh, which was discovered by physiologists in the 1930s. It's a double inhale through the nose and a long exhale that follows. So it's just, right? So it's inhale, inhale, long exhale. This physiological sigh is known to reinflate these little sacs in the lungs, called the alveoli of the lungs. And then when you exhale, it offloads a lot of carbon dioxide, and that immediately reduces your levels of stress. Now, why am I recommending this? Well, if your mind is churning on something, maybe you're just obsessing, maybe you're not really stressed, maybe you're sad. But when you use respiration to kind of wedge in between your conscious and unconscious life, suddenly you realize that using something that's purely mechanical, your lungs, air, carbon dioxide, your mind shifts as well. So physical pursuits, I think, are wonderful, and I do believe that everyone should have some relationship to the physical world and their physical body, regardless of abilities. The important thing is to just get started and get consistent. I think that even if somebody is just walking 5 days a week consistently, just walking, right? It's the consistency is what pays off, and I think it pays off for a different reason than we think. Sometimes we want to see the physical or the financial results right away, but I think a big part of it is that you're training your nervous system. We have these things called central pattern generators. These are neurons that are in our spinal cord and brainstem that generate repetitive movements. And the brain loves to load central pattern generators with work, because then the mind can think about other things. And so a lot of the challenge of studying or taking on a fitness program or something like that, it's because it requires so much deliberate forebrain activity. Do I drink the coffee then? Do I do it then? Do I do workout at this time? Do I study this? Am I doing it right? All that constant rumination, right? But once you just if you just decide I'm going to do it regularly, that's a non-negotiable part. Then a lot of that gets handed over to central pattern generators, and it frees up a lot of energy.